Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Will Bontoni, a Patriots fan. Got a Tom Brady tattoo on his rear end. Would you ever do anything like that?
I'm Tony Kornheiser, no room. I got John Clayton on one cheek.
Woo!
I got Bieber on the other.
A lot of musicians.
I'm looking for a place to put Krzyzewski. The lower back or something like that.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Does Clayton have the ponytail on your tattoo?
Yeah. And he's rocking out. It's like a pose like this.
In
He's
his
about
mother's
to
house,
down on the guitar in the basement, eating meatloaf. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, all-star drama, A-Rod's future, and Bryce Harper's hat. But we begin today with the waning seconds of last night's Bulls-Celtics game played in Chicago. Down one, the Bulls' lone all-star, Jimmy Butler, rises up for a shot. The shot misses, and the Celtics win. Except the referee on the baseline, not the ref closest to the play, calls a foul on Marcus Smart. A phantom foul, it appears. Butler sinks both shots. Bulls win.
Bulls win.
Well, but I know the Bulls are your account.
That's right.
But didn't the Celtics get hosed?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
they did.
They got hosed.
Yeah.
I'm watching this game last night, and the meds are taking over, so I'm not really sure what I'm watching. And I see Jimmy Butler's shot. It's errant. You see it's going to be off. Now, the one thing that says he hit his arm is that Jimmy Butler doesn't make errant shots from the elbow. See what I did there?
I saw. That's very good for a guy
on
drugs.
He's on target. That's his spot.
Yeah.
And so this was way off center, and I'm just thinking
Maybe
he missed it. And I'm about to click when I see, wait, they're going to the scorer's table. It was a bad call, but I don't want to if there's any franchise in professional sports history, I don't want to hear whining about a foul call. It's the Boston Celtics. I don't want to hear them whining because they've gotten the benefit of hundreds, if not thousands, of calls since 1948, since Red Auerbach and the Leprechaun and Russell and Heinsohn and Cousy. And so shut up, take your loss, leave.
Can I suggest to you that in 29 other cities, that's not a foul last night? There's just not a foul there. It's only a foul in Chicago.
Why?
It's nowhere else.
Vote early, vote often?
I don't know.
It's only a foul in Chicago.
It's a bad call.
Okay, well, it could have been a foul. Bad calls happen everywhere.
No, not that late.
They don't happen in Boston?
Not recently.
You're a Knicks fan. What are you saying?
Not that late. That's a bad call. And you know what happens? You know what happens as a result of this?
It's a bad call.
The Washington Wizards, who won a game last night, the Washington Wizards now make up a full game on Boston, which is unfair. With 25 games left, that small call could result in a flipping of home field. Yes. In a second-round playoff series.
Let me just add this. Isaiah Thomas, seriously, we need
that Isaiah Thomas.
The new Isaiah, the current.
Isaiah
Tony,
Thomas.
He should be an MVP candidate. I can't make the case that he's more exciting than Russ or he's turned the team around as much as James Harden.
Who's Russ?
Russell Westbrook.
Oh, not Bill Russell, because they called him Russ.
Tony, Isaiah Thomas is great. Bad call. I think he got him. Bad call.
No, bad call.
Too bad.
Bad call.
Too bad.
Bad call.
Hey, go home.
It's a bad call. It's a hometown jive.
Good
call.
Good. I-95 can,
I don't care about I-95.
I know you don't.
It's a bad
you want
call.
them to get all the calls.
It's a bad call.
It's been a long time since I cared who won an all-star game, and I ain't going to care who wins this one on Sunday night either. But I might care to see who Russell Westbrook winds up playing alongside. Kevin Durant? Or for that matter, Durant, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, all of whom Russ could obviously live happily without. Tony Steve Kerr, as the coach of the Western All-Stars, couldn't make that determination. To put Russ into all-star misery by playing him with 4 dubs. Should he?
This depends on 2 things. The most important thing, number 1, is this. You have to take the temperature of Kevin Durant. Does Kevin Durant want to be out there on the floor at any point with Russell Westbrook? And if he says, yes, I do, then you let that happen. The second thing is Steve Kerr has to determine in his own mind, how much misery do I want to cause this particular player, Russell Westbrook?
Will it help or hurt my team?
That's right. Down the road. But see, now, the Oklahoma City isn't good enough to beat them no matter what. If I'm Steve Kerr, I'm just going to leave well enough alone on this, although I will concede to you that not everybody knows how much Westbrook hates Durant and hates Curry, and people want to see them play together.
Yes.
They do.
That's the reason I'm going to watch. Seriously, I want to see that. I want to see what the interaction is. If Russ is in the game with all 4 of those guys, will there be points for assists or back pats or dapping, or will there just be frosty tolerance?
So you think Steve Kerr will put them together?
Not all 4 necessarily. But I think that Russ look, there's 4. A third of the team is Warriors. He ought to be out there with some Warriors.
The only 2 that he has tremendous beef with, justifiably, I believe, with Kevin Durant, because Durant should have called him. Unjustifiably, but
just
he has it still. He resents Curry. But, I mean, Steve Kerr has to understand that for everything we do, there's a reaction. And he's got to game this out, what's going to happen with Westbrook. Because Westbrook is going to...
Do you think a guy like Steve Kerr,
volcano,
who seems the polar opposite in personality from Russell Westbrook, can game out what Westbrook is thinking?
I think the most important thing to Steve Kerr is his own players' psyches. He's got to deal with them. Andrew Marshall, who covers the Yankees for ESPN.com, reports that Yankee owner Hal Steinbrenner envisions Alex Rodriguez taking a larger role with the Yankees, now in his post-playing career, than just 3 days at spring training as a hitting instructor. Marchand hints that A-Rod could someday be manager of the Yankees. Hal Steinbrenner likes him that much. Wilbon, can you see this?
Tony, I don't know. I must admit that this report catches me totally by surprise because I don't think of Alex Rodriguez in managing, perhaps because in his current role, Alex Rodriguez is so damn good at television. And so you just think, wow, he could be out there and he could do this. What, you don't think so?
No, I think that everybody thinks of managing.
Okay, well, let me go back for a second. I had many conversations with A-Rod in October.
They think of managing.
And I hadn't asked him about managing. But I will say this. He cares so much about helping younger players. This is a big deal to him. And there's a second component. He studies the game like a nerd manager. He likes knowing everything about the game. And so I hadn't thought of it, but clearly Marchand or somebody must have asked him in some off-the-record conversation. And maybe it does interest him. How cool would that be?
Would it? Well, this is an interesting thing. I mean, first of all, they don't test managers for performance-enhancing drugs.
No, nor do they.
The second part of this is he was resented deeply by teammates in a lot of places.
Yeah.
He won't have any teammates when he manages because he'll manage younger people. Right. But do you think he can work with people in a different way than he worked with teammates?
Tony, despite what Alex put himself through and everybody else, is unbelievably charming and affable and approachable and good with people. He's great like that. And now that he's out of this circumstance, now I don't know how long, Tony, others might take to forgive him. Maybe people on the staff, a batting instructor, a pitching coach, management. I don't know how long that would take. But Alex seems to be able to navigate that to me.
Hal Steinbrenner's old man hired Billy Martin and fired him 5 different times. The Yankees do as they choose. There's one interesting observation here, that Hal Steinbrenner apparently said he can't think of anyone in the Tampa area who'd be better to coach the team's young shortstops than A-Rod. And Marchand then refers to Derek Jeter and the St. Jetersburg house, only 22 minutes away.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do it. I'm quoting another guy.
Okay. Ed Werder is reporting that based on what he's heard from his NFL and Patriots sources, he's not expecting Golden Boy caddy Jimmy Garoppolo to be traded. It's been out there for a while, especially in places like Chicago and Cleveland and San Francisco, where they have no established quarterback, that teams would be willing to part with very high draft picks to get Garoppolo from the Patriots. Werder does allow that this could be posturing. Tony, if you're Jimmy G, would you rather stay in New England for a minimum coin and perhaps no playing time, or have your ship come in elsewhere?
Let me first state that I'm so happy that people have come around to my position from weeks back. I believe I had this. It's crazy to trade this guy. That's my own opinion. Now, if I'm him, what do I want to do? I'm playing on a great team. I'm playing for the best coaches. I'm backing up the best quarterback. And he's 40. Now, he may think he can play forever, but you and I don't think he can play forever. I showed last year as Jimmy Garoppolo in the first couple of games that I can play. Why do I want to go to a terrible team if I have a chance to inherit this?
Here's why. Because you could look at Brady, and maybe you've been around him for so long now, you have so much respect for him, you think he's going to be Queen Elizabeth, and you're Charles, and you're tired of waiting.
But you're the one who says all the time.
I said if you're him, not listening to me, him. He's around Tom Brady every day. He sees this crazy stuff he eats, and maybe he believes in this.
Avocado ice cream.
And maybe he thinks also, you know what? This is a business. I'm 25 right now, but I don't want to wait to get the starting job when I'm 29. Let me go somewhere else and make a lot of money and make a team better.
I want to go. Well, you know,
maybe I'll go to San Francisco and play for Shanahan.
But the recent history has to include people like Brock Osweiler, who got a lot of money and went to a pretty good team and has bagged out on the whole thing, and they don't even want to play him anymore. Do you want to go to Cleveland? Do you want to go to San Francisco? Do you want to go to Chicago? Because the teams that won you are 4-12 because they don't have quarterbacks. I would stay.
You know what? You can go home. You get to the playoffs twice in 8 years there. You're a hero in Chicago.
So you think he
they
wants
want?
to leave.
No. They want him, and they should want him. Should he want to go there? Not necessarily. Look at them lately.
Bryce Harper.
No, don't even try
reported to the Washington Nationals' new spring training games in West Palm Beach wearing a Dallas Cowboys hat.
Oh, see?
Your boy Harper also spotted at a wrestling event wearing a Cowboys hat. Wilbon, you killed John Wall.
No, I didn't.
When he wore a Cowboys jersey to the Redskins game against the Cowboys in Washington this fall. I assume you're going to kill Bryce Harper for this.
No, I'm just going to kill Bryce Harper for being a front runner. This is like LeBron when he was saying, 2 years out of his childhood in Cleveland, my favorite teams are the Cowboys and the Lakers and the Yankees. I hate that front running. And, of course, LeBron, we have now seen LeBron where his heart really is. He's at Browns games.
Finally,
and
in his 30s.
No. He's been doing this for years now.
In his 30s.
And that's fine. Harper, if he wants to cheer for people who were close to Las Vegas, that's fine.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, I'm going to tell you
He's from Las Vegas?
Wait.
And this is your issue. This is not my issue.
It is my issue.
Okay.
He has said that when Vegas gets a hockey team, he'll cheer for them ahead of the Washington Capitals. That's fine.
Okay.
That's his hometown.
Right.
Dallas is not his hometown. This is not having a sense. The Washington Redskins are important. What John Wall did was terrible, I felt then, and I feel now.
Maybe this is get back. Maybe this is get back from both of them from seeing all those fans come to their stadiums all year long and root for the Cubs and the Dodgers and the Giants and
Bryce
the Lakers.
No, I think it's different with Bryce Harper.
What?
I think it's saying, get prepared for this. I'm leaving. I'm going to the New York Yankees. I don't have to root for the Washington Redskins because I'm short time in this area. Now, John Wall differently is not short time.
No.
And he wore the jersey
at
a Monday night game.
You people know how it feels. You come into the Verizon Center, we got the third best team in the East, and you people are cheering for the Yankees, for the Lakers, people like you.
It's not endearing. I don't cheer for the Lakers.
I know you do.
You cheer for Magic wherever he goes. Stop it.
I do.
We are less than a month from the start of the NCAA tournament, so that makes it a perfect time to check in with our friend Jay Williams from College Game Day. Let me start with this. I made this claim yesterday that right now, in this moment, not 2 weeks from now, in this moment, Duke is the best college basketball team in the country. Are you with me on this?
Unfortunately, I'm not. I think they're trending in the right direction. They had a big win against North Carolina. Then they came back at home, barely beat Clemson by a couple of points. But I like the way Jason Tatum is playing for them. He's going to be a top 5 draft pick, no doubt about it, Tony. But the best team in the country right now is the place I'm at currently. That's about 9 miles down the road from Durham in Chapel Hill. I think these Tar Heels have every piece of personnel that you need to win a championship. They play with a chip on their shoulder. Granted, they just had one of their guards go out with a hurt knee. But this team is absolutely loaded. They need to find that tenacity on the defensive end, but they can find that. They'll probably be the presumptive favorite to win a championship.
Even though Duke just beat them and beat them rather well towards the end of the game, I know it was in Duke, but they just beat them.
They did. Look, when Duke shoots close to 50% from the three-point line, Tony, when they shoot over 50% from the field, they're probably going to beat anybody. The question is, can they maintain that type of play throughout the NCAA tournament? Cameron is known for having soft rims, from somebody who's played there and scored a lot of points. Got a lot of good bounces, okay? I recognize what Luke Kennard does and what Grayson Allen does, but still, North Carolina was playing without Isaiah Hicks. They're a different team when they're healthy, man.
You mentioned a couple of freshmen already, and since I know I watch you watch these kids every night. You're all over the country like a ping pong ball. I want to ask you about some other guys, Jay. Lonzo Ball, Markelle Fultz, Malik Monk, and the others. Like, who do you like best? Who jumps out at you when you're watching all these kids in terms of thinking the next level?
Well, Mike, I have an affinity for guards, right? So when I watch one guard in particular, now their coach was just fired the other day. He's going to remain on the seat for the rest of the season, which is kind of awkward. But Dennis Smith Jr. reminds me of like a Zach LaVine meets a Kyle Lowry. This kid is so explosive. He had one dunk at the end of a game. Now, look, North Carolina has not beaten Duke for 22 years at Cameron Indoor Stadium. They beat them this year. And right after the buzzer, he had a dunk where he literally cocked the ball back all the way to his lower back. This kid is extremely athletic. He has the will and determination to try to win in every play. And I just got done doing an NBA crossover with Chauncey Billups, and I said, out of all the guards on the collegiate level, which is the guard you respect the most? And he's like, Dennis Smith Jr. has that fire that I just don't see out of players at his position.
All right, I'm going to move to the West now. Get out of the state of North Carolina and move to the West.
Okay.
Gonzaga beat San Francisco last night, beat them easily to go 27-0. They are likely to be a number one seed in the tournament. They may well be the overall number one if they go into the tournament undefeated. What round do you expect to see them get knocked out?
That's cold. That's just cold.
What?
Yeah,
It's a fair question.
Tony, I get it. The one concern I have about this team is that I don't know if they're truly battle tested. Now, they beat a lot of teams in November. They beat Arizona. They beat Iowa State. I get all that. But when you're not used to being in fistfights throughout the regular course of the season, and then you go into the NCAA tournament, how are you going to handle those scenarios when you haven't been used to being comfortable in uncomfortable situations? That's why I tend to favor teams from the Big 12 or the ACC or even the Big East with a team like Villanova. I would see them maybe going out around the Elite Eight. Plus, I have a bet with Seth Greenberg that I don't think they're going to make it to the Final Four. But know this, there's nothing more I would love to see for Mark Few's team to actually reach the Final Four. Last year, the narrative we had around Villanova, they're never going to get there. And nobody expected them to get there. All of a sudden, they got there to win a championship, and all that is gone. I mean, now we're talking about them, can they repeat? Can they win it back-to-back? So I would love to see them get there, but once again, I think that's going to work against them not being in fights, dog fights throughout the course of the regular season.
Jay, let's stay on Gonzaga just for a second. How are you with Nigel Williams-Goss, point guard to point guard? What do you think of him?
I like him a lot. I don't know if he's going to be a pro. Now, look, that you're talking about the most difficult position on the pro level, the point guard level, right? So we see how many pros made the All-Star, how many PGs made the All-Star game this season between John Wall and Kyle Lowry and all these guys. So, my thing is, does he have the lateral quickness to be there? I'm not sure, but he understands how to play. And look, if you understand how to play and you can be a backup PG, backup PGs can make $35 to $40 million now, Mike, with the cap going up. So it's not a bad living. So he gets fit with the right team, that can happen.
We call that Wilbon money around here. Yeah.
I see it the way he dressed when he's on set.
Absolutely.
I get you, Tony.
All right, get us out of here really quickly on this answer. Number 3, Kansas. Number 4, Baylor tomorrow. Do you believe in Baylor, or do they need this win to get you to believe in them?
They need to get this win for me to believe in them. It's so hard for me to go against these Jayhawks, man. These dudes, they play a 4-guard offense. They just keep finding ways to get it done. And everybody talks about Josh Hart being National Player of the Year. Man, I don't think it's a race anymore. I think Frank Mason, that point guard who, by the way, committed to a lot smaller of a school at first before he came to KU, he's my National Player of the Year right now.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jay, as always. Appreciate it.
You got it, guys. All right.
You can catch Jay on College Game Day tomorrow on ESPN beginning at 11 a.m. Let's take one last break, but still to come, Blues goalie Jake Allen makes a save without something important.
Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Yes, while Geico could help you rack up more moolah faster than you can say metamorphosis, they've also been the fastest growing auto insurer for more than 10 years. That's more like it. Furthermore, Geico has fast and friendly claims service. That might seem like an oxymoron, but it's not. All the more reason to say no other auto insurer has more than Geico. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Happy time, people. Happy 33rd birthday, Marcin Gortat. The Polish hammer, averaging a double-double, 12 points and 11 rebounds a game. He's part of the Washington Wizards starting 5 that ranks number 1 in the NBA in terms of the amount of points scored by the starters relative to the total amount of points for the team, which is to say the Wizards have no bench. But they're killing it lately. They're 32-13 in the last 45.
March, who we know and like, is an aware guy. You think he's aware he shares a birthday with Michael Jordan and Jim Brown? You think March knows that?
I think he probably does.
Knows.
Happy anniversary, Charles Barkley and Dick Bavetta. On this day 10 years ago, the two raced 3.5 lengths of the court for charity after Barkley had ridiculed Bavetta's age and claimed he could beat him in a foot race. The great moment was Barkley kissing Bavetta after the race, right? That's the great moment.
This was funny. I can't believe it was 10 years ago. I don't see Dick Bavetta enough. He's a wonderful person to run into and chat with in any arena. Haven't seen him enough.
Happy trails to Jake Allen's mask. The St. Louis Blues goalie had his mask loosened after a shot ricocheted off it. Allen then removed the loosened mask, which calls for an automatic stoppage in play. And both Allen and the Blues bench were screaming for that stoppage. But no official noticed, and play continued, and Allen made the rare maskless save.
Who talked you into this very unnecessary happy trails on a day when George the Animal Steele dies, 79 years old, had big bouts in the Garden with Bruno Sammartino? What are you doing? I don't even know you anymore.
One omission. Antoine Vermette of the Ducks was suspended 10 games by the NHL for whacking that linesman the other night. Let's go to the big finish quickly. Sidney Crosby passed 1,000 points last night. Big deal?
No, 85 other guys have done it. No, he's great. That's a big deal. Darrelle Revis was charged with assault and robbery after a street altercation in Pittsburgh. Your thoughts?
I got to know more about this. Before I have a judgment, I got to have more reporting. 48-year-old Roy Jones Jr. is fighting tonight on pay-per-view. You going to buy that?
I'm laid up for another. I think I'm going to buy it. Roy Jones Jr., we covered him in the Olympics 30 years ago.
Yes.
Boogie Cousins says Sacktown is the place you want to be. He wants to stay there. You believe him, don't you?
No.
Why not?
Last one, dunk contest tomorrow. Who you got?
In the absence of Zach LaVine, I'm going with this kid, Derrick Jones Jr., who has come out of the CBA to play like 8 minutes with the Suns.
I like Aaron Gordon. The Arizona.
Aaron Gordon, that's a legit fit.
We're out of
Come
time.
out the D-League.
Trying to be better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Have a great weekend, Knucklehead.